HOA fines $400,000 for issues like leaves on the ground. And so
$400,000.
those trees must be very expensive if the leaves are worth $400,000. That's all I gotta say is, wow. What a day and time to be living in an HOA currently. So, homeowners, a homeowners association in Dacula, Georgia, has issued over $400,000 in fines and is now foreclosing on homes, which is causing concern amongst residents. So, there's a Daniel Park Subdivision's HOA. They were scheduled to meet apparently at a local church, but the church declined to have the meeting there because of the contentious nature of the situation.
Well, we don't want y'all mess here.
When you got
mess on down the road to the community center, y'all ain't coming in here with that mess.
When you got a church that's normally open to everybody, but then they like, oh nah, we good. We don't want no parts of that.
Get thee behind me, Satan. Get under my feet.
Yeah, when you got a church that decides to take the a leave of absence and say, no, we not gonna let y'all do y'all dirt up in here.
Crazy.
That's
You know they was fighting. They was fighting before they even got there. They was fighting when they was trying to make the appointment.
We'll do it in the church parking lot. But yeah, so neighbors in the subdivision have expressed concern, and they reached out to Channel 2 Action News for assistance. And so one neighbor said that he got approval to cut down a tree. And
I got an approval to cut a tree down, and when I cut it down, I got a $500 fine.
$500 fine.
I imagine that's how he sounds.
I'm pretty sure it might be somewhere around there. And he gonna be the one to watch the podcast. He gonna be like, they was making fun of me.
That girl is marking me.
He gonna be like, I don't sound nothing like that. I don't sound like that at all.
Right. I was born and raised in Savannah, and we don't talk like that.
This will be the episode that he gonna tune into. Gonna get us taken off the air. They was making fun of my voice.
I tell you.
And they ain't even get my voice right. He just making fun of it.
Oh.
I'm like, what? Mr. Tim, we don't even know you. So we're but yeah, he got a $500 fine, and
we don't mean anything by it.
But no,
that's crazy.
400,000 just in general, that's a lot to be collecting in fines. And I want to know where this money is going to, because if I live in an HOA, let me find out y'all done collected $400,000 in fines, and we still got cracks in the sidewalk, weeds growing up in the cracks.
Swimming pool.
Let me go down and find a light out in one of the street lights. Let me find something that's wrong, and y'all done collected $400,000 in fines. There's going to be a problem, because that's a lot of money just to collect in fines, not including HOA fees, which people pay yearly or monthly, depending upon the HOA that you live in.
Quarterly, whatever, so yeah.
That's just in fines, not even the original the regular HOA fees. So, yeah,
But you know, this man, even when you try, what's really discouraging for people is just living in a neighborhood with an HOA. But when I try to do things according to the rules, I get approval to cut this tree down. And then once I do, I go through all the protocols that I'm supposed to, and then y'all still fine me. Oh, these people have every right to be mad.
Oh, absolutely. It said that they had, oh goodness. Got my phone on silent. It says that one guy, one guy, Aaron Rodgers, who's one of the anchors on the news, he said he went through the subdivision's financial records. Between the beginning of the year and Halloween, the neighborhood had collected almost $200,000 in fines when they budgeted for $40,000 in revenue. So that gives you an idea of how much more money they are making in fines then revenue.
This must be a huge neighborhood. Let me look this up on Remind real quick, because this must be a really huge neighborhood for them to be, unless their average fine is just that high.
It might be. I mean, it says that their fines are so excessive that to the point to where their cash reserves have been built on fines, not the dues that are paid yearly. So, yeah, another person said that they were trying to take their home for $37,000. So look, I mean, at the end of the day, this is one of those things where you got an HOA, and we've talked about HOAs a couple of times over the past, I don't know, month or two. And, you know, HOAs have been getting a lot of love. If by people's extreme dislike for HOAs is something that you would consider love. But, you know, this is just one more reason why people who are against HOAs are against HOAs, because there is no oversight with their authority, so to speak. There's no government entity that oversees the HOAs. So HOAs kind of just act as little mini governments over the subdivision, making rules, issuing out fines, and HOAs can foreclose on your home when you don't pay said fines. When those fines exceed, at least in the state of Georgia, $2,000, it's like now they can foreclose on your home. And so that ends up being something where it's like, wow, so for just a couple $1,000s in fines, now I can end up losing my house if I don't pay that. And, you know, you got HOA communities that have foreclosed on homes and sold those homes. And, you know, I don't think it's a good look for a neighborhood. I don't think it's a good look for an HOA. I think it does more to damage your community than it does to, you know, try to beautify it, and whatever you think the purpose is of you know, finding people who have leaves on their yard, or finding someone who cuts down a tree, or finding someone who builds up a, you know, fence, or plants a garden in their backyard or whatever. I get the uniformity that a lot of HOAs try to go after when they're like, oh, we want to have all the houses to look similar. We want all the lots to look similar. All the fences, if you put one up, have to be uniform with all the other ones. It's like, I get that. But within reason, it's like, let's not seek to get rich off of the residents and then foreclose on said residents so that we can get new people into the subdivision. Like, you know, I feel like there's a better way to accomplish all of that.
Well, you know, I feel like somebody on the board is trying to pay off their mortgage. And I mean, fines, because if you collect this much in fines and then you can't show me paperwork as to where they're going, and I don't see it reinvested into the neighborhood, I can only surmise and assume that y'all are
pocketing it.
Yeah, pocketing it, and
I would be asking for all the statements. I want to see every single dollar and where every single dollar is gone, every single dollar that has been taken in. And I want to see where it has gone out to. I want to see all of the statements, all the documents, everything, because at this point, it's like, I'm not trusting an HOA that is heavily fining people 10 times the amount that they get in annual revenue. Because this is like almost $400,000 in fines, and they're budgeted for like $40,000 a year. That's a 10x difference in how much you're getting in fines over how much you would get in just revenue from people paying their yearly dues. So yeah, I would be under a big microscope, or I'd be putting them under a big microscope to see what's going on with that, really. Yeah,
because a lot of people don't understand. Some people are just like, well, I wouldn't pay that. Okay, well, you wouldn't have a home either, because, you know, you can't just, when an HOA finds you, I don't think that people really realize the amount of jurisdiction that they have. Almost like a state or a local government, they pretty much govern what happens within the four walls of that subdivision. And so, you know, they're issuing fines for stuff like leaves in the yard. Like, you know, I can't control when my tree loses its hair in the wintertime. You know, it's gonna happen. You know, excuse me if I can't get out there right away as soon as a leaf falls and come out there with my leaf blower or rake it up. But, you know, I can understand a car being parked in the yard,
Uh-huh.
trash, but an actual leaf in the yard, that's crazy. Um, but also, the issue is with the board. They haven't had a vote on a new board in 10 years. Most of the current members were appointed, and that's why I say, like, if most of the board members have been there for 10 years and they're pocketing these fines, I can only imagine that they're, trying to get their houses paid off. So all they have to do is pay this, insurance, maintenance, and HOA.
So,
Would that be crazy?
yeah, I mean, I would say for the individuals that are living in these neighborhoods, these subdivisions with HOAs that might be going a bit rogue, if you will, what can you do? Two things. One,
Sell. Call me. I'll sell it. I'll put it on the market.
okay, well that's one that's one route you can take. Not the one I was going.
That ain't what you was gonna say.
Not the one I was going for, but selling is an option.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, going to the news, going to social media.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because getting attention on something tends to make people change their actions or their tunes a little bit, especially when they see that, oh wait, other people don't think what we're doing is a good idea, and now people are finding out about our dirt. Yeah, like you got the residents here that went to the news and they're like, hey, our HOA is doing this and they've got hundreds of thousands in fines and that makes for a good story. And the news is like, we'll be happy to cover that and look into all of that and and get more eyes on it, and then take it to social media and then see what social media has to say. Just keep generating up enough fuss about this. So that's the first thing. But the second thing is, actually, you can take it to court as well. I mean, if you feel like you are being unjustly treated by your, HOA, that you're being targeted by your HOA, unjustly or whatever, because they're fining you for leaves on the yard or whatever. And personally, I'm one who waits till all the leaves fall before I rake them up, because I don't like raking multiple times. I've done it where I'll go out there and I'll rake the leaves off the yard, and then more leaves fall down, and 3-4 days later you can't even tell that I raked, and I don't like that. So it's like, nope, all the leaves fall, then I rake one time, and we're done for the winter until next fall. And so that's the way that I prefer to do it. But in any case, you could take it to court.
You don't even know HOA.
I don't live in no HOA, but this is why I don't live in no HOA. HOA is just, they got too much of a death grip around the neck of people. But just taking it to court is one option that people have, so that they can try to remedy some of these issues that they've been having, and let a court weigh in on it and decide on it. And again, the court of public opinion can still sway the actions of a decision. By public opinion, I mean social media, the news, whatever. They can still sway the actions of individuals. So,
that is true.
And not exactly a HOA, but kind of related, that I did want to bring up. If you're renting and you live in an apartment complex, make sure that you pay your rent and everything else on time, every time. I can't tell you how many times, and it's not been often, but it's been several times, where people have had, whether it's evictions or collections from past apartment complexes where they live at, showing up on their credit report. That stuff can follow you around like a bad smell. I mean,
Past year.
Yes. And I mean, it can prevent you from being able to purchase a home. I've seen it more than one time. Like, by all means, if you live in an apartment complex, when you sign a lease for 1 year, if you decide to leave after 8 months, your apartment complex could still say you owe us the next 4 months unless there's a clause in that lease agreement that says that you owe them X amount of money for breaking the lease early. If there's not a clause in there that says, hey, if I want to break the lease early, what do I owe you? And you sign that lease and it says you're going to rent from them for this amount for the whole next year, that means that you owe them the whole year. And if you decide to leave after 5 or 6 months, they can come back and try and collect, go to a collection agency, file a judgment or whatever to get the remaining 6 months, 7 months, however much you still owe them. They can come after you for that. And that can literally hinder your chances of being able to purchase a home. It can hurt you in, your credit and you being able to get good interest rates on purchases, even like a car or whatever. So by all means, make sure, even if you're not owning a home in the HOA, but you're just renting a home, make sure this is someplace you plan on being, if you plan on being there for a whole year. And if you don't plan on being there for a whole year, or you feel you might end up having to leave soon, make sure there's a clause in there that you understand what it is you're going to owe if you cancel that lease agreement early, or you want to move out and terminate that lease agreement early. Know what it's going to cost you, because that could be a huge game changer and difference maker for you, especially years and years down the line, because that can follow you around.
Yeah, a lot of my commercial, residential and commercial leases that I write have clauses that say the early termination fee is 35% of what would be the remaining balance of the payments that you would if you stayed the whole term. Mm-hmm. Or, some of my landlords, especially if they're not that great of a tenant, we don't really want to make it that hard of a burden for the tenant to get out of the lease. So a lot of corporate landlords with apartment buildings and things downtown, 1 month's rent, 1 month's base rent is your termination fee. A lot of the leases I write for my clients that have properties, we just say month and a half. If you give less than 60 days notice, or if you give 60 days or more notice, then 1 month's rent, basically you won't get your deposit back, basically, is what it is. But this, is really a game changer for me, just kind of being here throughout this. I know why you're bringing this up. Mm-hmm. And it's a game changer for me because I've often told people prior to this, oh, your rental history doesn't matter, don't worry about it. Even if you have an eviction, as long as your credit score is good enough, you can buy a home. But apparently I have to backtrack, and that's not the case, because I was like, they don't take rental history into consideration when you're trying to purchase a home. Rental history has nothing to do with it. It's always your your credit. Yeah. You paid your bills, your revolving credit, how many different types of credit you have, But no, they're now looking at your rental. And to be fair, rental history is housing history. Mm-hmm. And so I would not say that it's just so far-fetched for a mortgage company to take that into consideration. It's just that in times past, it really didn't matter that much. Especially if you had moved forward and changed your ways and, paid your dues, and you have like 5 years worth of excellent, perfect rental history. You're going to go back to the 6th year when I had a bad year. And so it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy. I agree completely. It's a changing environment that you see with a lot of mortgage lenders. Like you said, it didn't used to be that heavy of a thing with, oh, we're going to dig deep into your rental history. It's like, no, we need a 2-year housing history, but we're not looking at 2 years worth of rental payments. Did you pay your rent on time for the last 2 years? It's like, no, where have you lived for the last 2 years? Oh, you lived at this address? Okay, cool. So we have a 2-year, residence history for where you stayed at for the last 2 years. But yeah, now it's definitely something more, intuitive, more involved in terms of getting into that housing history. So it's like, hey, how were those last 12 months of rental payments? And I will say, for the majority of loans, a lot of mortgage lenders won't look at how your rental history was in terms of the payments that you've made, but where it can really hurt you is when you didn't pay and now those apartment complexes or the landlord wants to, put a collection on your credit report, because now it's like, oh, so you didn't pay rent on time, and that's when it becomes a bigger issue, because now we see that collection on your credit report for your apartment complex going after you for unpaid rent, or we see a judgment pop up, and because they went to the courts and they said we're going to file a judgment so that we can come after you even harder for the money that you didn't pay on that rent, which they can do. And so all of that stuff is like stuff that, like I said, in the changing dynamic of the mortgage environment, you're just seeing a lot more commonly with mortgage lenders wanting to look into that stuff. And trust me, as we get deeper and deeper into an AI world, it's only going to get more invasive into your privacy and your personal life, because everything's out there on the internet and everything's going to be connected. And a mortgage lender at some point will just be able to tap into some portal where they'll be able to, oh, this is your housing history, because that's where all the landlords, post their rental history to. And they'll be able to, tap into there and say, oh, this is all your, more of your information is going to be out there more and more as technology continues to, improve and become more abundant and everything. So it's not going to become
darn
less.
AI. That darn AI.
Yeah. AI is going to be in everything. That little chip that you got in Fido, the little chip that you put in your dog, that little location tracker, they have a little AI little thing in there as well. Just AI is going to be everywhere.
All of at Whole Foods you can scan your hand over it's a little separate reader on the side and pay for your groceries.
What is it about your hand that your fingerprint?
I don't know if these people got a chip in. No, you supposed to just be able to wave your hand. I don't know if they read your fingerprint or if these people done got something installed under their skin. But I've been seeing it at Whole Foods for probably at least the last year. And it just says scan to pay. Wave your hand over this reader to pay, and it's a separate little reader on the side from your the credit card reader.
I think we call that the mark of the beast.
I'm gonna look that up.
When it was like you will not buy or sell unless you have the mark. I read the book of Revelation.
I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
I do not have time for this. This is crazy.
I read that book of Revelation. That sounds like some mark of the beast type stuff.
Oh, I'm trying to get my house and build and plant my garden. Y'all ain't gonna tell me what I can and can't eat.
Gonna live off the grid?
Just become vegans unless you just want chickens and goat. We can raise chicken and goat, or maybe some cows and have some beef. But you gonna have to have your meat grinder, because I don't know how to grind no beef.
Oh, you don't have to.
I don't know how to ground no beef, Frederick.
Yeah, you figure it out.
I don't know how to slaughter no cow.
You'll figure all that out. But
yeah, real quick.
I'm hungry. Guess you got to figure out this planting thing. Ancestors spent hundreds of years on these plantations, ain't passing none of that knowledge down.
We was trying to get out of there.
Yeah. It's like as soon as we could get out, we was like, we don't want to be here no more. We want to be in suits.
Not at will employment.
Then realize all the value is actually in just owning the land and knowing how to work the land. Like that's the most valuable thing. I mean, I understand also the need that was driving, I want to leave this. I don't want to come back to the farms. I got this dislike of stuff. I got to, do whatever else. But it's like actually owning the land, owning the farms, owning, all of that stuff. Today, I mean, you'd be sitting on a gold mine if Black people or whatever had kept all of that land, or as much as they could get their hands on, because land is just valuable and we're not making any more of it. So.
Well, that's the one thing that has not changed in all these years is the value of land, the valuableness of land, and the valuableness of knowing how to work the land, and real true wealth coming from land and being able to produce something from it. That's one thing that has not changed. I don't think will ever change. And that's comforting to know that from the beginning of time till now, out of all the things that have changed, that have remained consistent.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's what we
cute.
have. Julie said, okay, I'm off now. I'm going to go ahead and leave.
Oh, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel.
Yes, subscribe, please. And leave a comment as well. Let us know your thoughts. If you like HOAs, don't like HOAs. Let us know what your thoughts are as well, because I already have voiced my opinions on them, but I want to hear your opinions without hearing me swaying them one way or another. So in the meantime, make sure you tune in. Fridays, we'll be dropping another episode. Tuesdays, home finance hacks. Wasn't there this past Tuesday because life be lifing. But be there next Tuesday, though. And so make sure you tune in on Tuesdays as well when I go live at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And till next time, take care. Be blessed. See you next week.